Two types of Dolphins fans right now. Ones like me that are just depressed and sad and embarrassed. And then you got my friend Adam Baldecki out there in Pompano Beach area who texts me, they expletive, Dan, and change is expletive imperative. So some people are angry. Some people are embarrassed and just sad and down in the dumps because the Dolphins were expletive today. 305-567-0560 is the number to call. I want to know, I'll tell you this. I did not like Tua's game today. I did not like the way he talked this week. We're going to listen and watch his post game in just a few minutes. He bet not act up. I'm starting to get very, very sick of Tua Tagovailoa on and off the field. He pulls some smart move tonight in the press conference, and he doesn't take full responsibility for that game, whether it's all on him or not. A lot of it was on him today, too. I'm going to be infuriated. I'm not going to be depressed or sad or embarrassed anymore. I'm being infuriated. 305-567-0560. Back to the phone lines. Gary from Fort Lauderdale. Go ahead, Gary.
Hey, Dan. You do a great job hosting a radio show.
Thank you so much. You make my day a little bit brighter. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. And, I really got a kick out of hearing those people say that this is about DEI. I mean, man, that's really pathetic. Okay, now, I'm not upset at all about this loss. And I've been a Dolphin fan since 1966. We had season tickets back then. I mean, my whole life I've been a Dolphin fan. And I'm going to tell you why I'm not upset. Because I was upset 2 years ago when they signed this clown to this extended contract. Anybody with any sense should have known it was going to ruin the team. And sure as can be, it has ruined the team. And the same people that are crying and complaining today are the ones that were jumping up and down and clapping their hands that we signed to it for 4 more years or 5 more years or whatever the hell it was. So I find that pretty funny.
It is. We were sitting there talking about, oh, no, but we can't find anybody better. We got to re-sign Tua. Happy Tua will be a good Tua. And it has been just downhill ever since he signed that extension. And now we are locked into it. The Dolphins, and I'm glad Gary brought this up, longtime Dolphins fan. Of course, growing up, I was a Saints fan, but also I was a big Dolphins fan because I didn't know anybody else named Dan other than Dan Marino. So naturally, I gravitated towards Dan Marino. This is an organization that had so much pride, had one of the greatest, if not the greatest coach in NFL history, had one of the greatest, if not the greatest quarterback in NFL history. Such a long line of great receivers and defenders, and year after year after year of going deep into the playoffs. Joe Rose, who you're going to hear tomorrow morning, I might even have to get up for this because I want to hear what Joe Rose has to say. He's in his elevated age. As he's getting older, he's losing more and more of his filter, which I love. But Joe Rose said there was times they would lose the AFC Championship game, and Don Shula would rip them a new one in the post game and said, the standard and the goal is Super Bowls, winning Super Bowls, and you guys failed. Heck, I just want to win another game this year. How has the standard gone from Super Bowl win, not Super Bowl win, or you're a failure, to 31-6, 1-6, and the Browns walking all over you? What has happened? What happened? 305-567-0560. Going back to the phone lines. Let's see what we got. Robert in West Palm Beach. Go ahead, Robert.
Hi. I've heard some people call up today saying that the team doesn't do things differently. And I have the quote of the day. So the quote of the day is, if you always do the things you did, you'll always get the things you got.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That encapsulates the Dolphins.
Yeah. They do the same thing over and over again. They have the same people over and over again. But I do, like I said, this is the more demoralizing part of it all. This team has tried a bunch of different things. They've tried paying free agents. They've tried tanking. They've tried getting the innovative new coach. They've tried building the trenches. And it's all failed. That's why I'm kind of just, a little hurt right now. 305-567-0560. We'll take phone calls for a while, man. I want to hear from you. Hear what you have to say. That's why we want to talk to you. So, Mike in Fort Lauderdale, the floor is yours, Mike. Go ahead.
Hey, afternoon. Hey, let me let me ask you this question because I think I know exactly what's wrong with the Dolphins. From the four guys at the top of the food chain with the Dolphins, right? We're talking about the owner Ross, General Manager Greer, the coach, and Tua, right? Mm-hmm. If you're Nick Saban and you're still at Alabama, could the general manager of the Dolphins pick players for you? Could he go out and recruit for you?
Talk about Nick Saban?
No, Nick Saban. If he was still at Alabama, do you think he would trust Chris Greer to pick players for him?
No, absolutely not.
Do you think he would trust McDonald as his offensive coordinator?
No, he would not allow that.
Tua played quarterback for him and won a national championship.
That is true. He won a national championship game for him, by the way.
Okay, so that's fine. But my point is, out of the four dudes that we're talking about, Tua's had more football success than the four of them, than the other three. So my thing is this. I think it's high time that we call a spade a spade. Stephen Ross, outside of spending money to improve the stadium and all the other crap he's brought there, he's a bad owner. Mm-hmm. He's a bad owner, plain and simple.
I mean, look at the results. The results say
excuse me?
The results say it's bad. Yes, you're right. Since he's owned the team, there's not been a lot of success here in Dolphins land.
And everything he does that affects everything on the field has been crap. It's been crap. Mm-hmm. And he's not going to fire either one of those dudes this week. They'll probably end the season with the Dolphins. That's bad ownership. It simply is. And then the thing that irks me is that, especially with the general manager, hasn't he been there like 20 years already?
25. He's been with the organization for 25 years.
So, and he's right around the time the Dolphins started this losing streak. Yeah. Chris Greer's been with them along the way.
Isn't that ironic? Ironic that he's been with this organization the same amount of time they've been losing.
How much do you need to see Ross when it comes to on the field matters, wins and losses? He is a bad owner. He's a bad owner, and that's what's wrong with the Dolphins. You hit the nail on the head before one of your breaks. You said, "What is their identity?"
Nothing.
And Mike McDaniel came over with that crap, saying it was his job to get the best that he could get, make Tua the best version of Tua that he can be. That was bull crap. All he did was brought the San Francisco 49ers offense along with him, and Tua never fit in that offense. If you look at what he did at Alabama, the running game led the way at Alabama. And the passing game filled in the gaps. They had the receivers, just like they had talented receivers.
He had big numbers at Alabama. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, absolutely, he had big numbers, but it came on the heels of an awesome running game.
Oh, it came on the heels of a coach and an organization that knows how to put their players in a good spot,
right,
to maximize their potential. Yeah,
right.
Huh?
Yeah, we don't know how to do that here.
No.
We don't know how to do that here. So.
I feel bad for some of the guys like Devon Achane. He gets murdered every game. Ollie Gordon II, I think he has potential, but they don't give him a chance. They don't put the players and maximize the players. They don't get the most out of them, and they don't put them in favorable positions to their skill set. 305-567-0560. Let's go back to the phone lines. We're going to go to Paul in Fort Lauderdale. Paul, go ahead.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, Paul, go ahead.
Good, great show. Here's what I think needs to happen. As long as fans are going, you need to stop going to the games. I know you paid your money for the season tickets and all that, but the only way that they're going to make those changes that you want is if they're losing money. Mm-hmm. And I haven't on this station, I haven't heard anybody even mention that. So Ross is a businessman, and just like the caller before me said, he's a bad owner.
Yeah.
And if he's not making money, he's going to make those changes.
That's true, because good businessmen, they see the bottom line start to drop, then they start making moves.
Right.
And he's a good businessman.
If you see that if he sees that the stands are empty, mm-hmm. he's not making money. There's no money being made at the concession stands. They're going to do something. If you look back over the years, to make changes, you had to boycott.
Yeah. Paul, we get calls every week. We get calls every week from people that said, I had season tickets for 20 years. I stopped renewing them like a year or two ago because I can't continue to support this. I can't do this to myself. They've lost a lot of season tickets, but they've also gained a lot of season ticket holders. I don't know how that exactly works with the way they've been playing, but we get it all the time. But if Stephen Ross does see that concessions are down, that sales are down for gear, that no one's showing up to the games, that might be the tipping point. I don't know. There weren't a lot of people at the Browns game today. I will say that between Dolphins and Browns. Maybe the weather had something to do with it.
Do you want us in the rain for 4 hours?
That's what I was going to say. Maybe the rain had something to do with it. Maybe 1 in 5 on both teams had something to do with it. But if it's empty like that, and the Dolphins' next game, which is Sunday, by the way, against Atlanta, could be some nasty work. 305-567-0560. Back to the phone lines before we go to break. Jay in Cutler Bay. Jay, give it to me.
Well, guys, all I got to tell you is, are you ready for the first overall pick?
The Jets are waiting on that one right now.
At this point, what we look like, the Jets will surpass us, and their day will come where we will be the worst team. We rank almost, I think, worst in, or bottom 5 in every category on defense. Besides putting up points in a few games, Tua has taken no accountability. He's not aware of his comments and how they affect his team or the fan base, for that matter.
Did you feel as though the team quit today? Did you feel as though they quit today, or they were still fighting?
Oh, I think as a fan, we expected what happened today. It was going to be shameful, but we saw a fractured team after Tua's comments last week. That's not how a $52 million quarterback should act. And, it's just concerning to be a Dolphin fan at this point. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see this team's just fractured.
I think Nate Burleson said it best on CBS halftime show. He said these Dolphins guys need to keep playing hard, not to win, but because they need to put tape together so that their next job sees what they can do. Their next team sees what they can do.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. I have a lot of friends who've played in the league, friends that are currently playing in the league, and I can tell you that does come down to it from a business standpoint. But when you come to work every day and it feels like the people who are in charge of, putting the environment of your job are not there anymore, and it seems like this coaching staff as well, all the way to the front office. I'll tell you, it's coming all the way from the top. It's fractured, and I just really hope at the end of the day, as Dolphins fans and all of us here, I have a young son who we have season tickets currently. I'm not much concerned to see a Super Bowl at this point or see a successful Dolphins team. I'm concerned if he will.
I'm telling you, man. I'll ask you this, Trevor. You can answer. So
go ahead.
What's the old saying? Where there's smoke,
there's fire.
Yeah, it just looks like the Dolphins organization is bad.
It's the building's on fire.
So it just looks like
the owner doesn't want to put it out.
Looks like the organization is bad. Looks like the general manager isn't very good. Looks like the coach doesn't really have a firm grip on the team.
Mm-hmm.
It looks that way.
Oh, it looks like that.
And then you think of all the players who have left the Dolphins and gone to other teams, and they get baited into what was it like with the Dolphins? And then it's like a joke to them. They're like,
like Kendall Lamb just tell him what his thoughts on the Dolphins.
All the players,
Jalen Ramsey,
and then other players come in and they're like, oh, before I got to the Dolphins, there was around the league, they were known as a soft team that would wither away when the going got tough. But we're here to change that. So that's the perception everybody has of you. That's the perception people have of you after they leave your team. So why am I to believe that this team isn't soft and this team isn't weakly constructed and this team doesn't have their affairs in order? How about this, Dolphins? Give me a reason not to believe that and not to think that. That's it. You have that in your power.
Just be a country club. That's what you guys are.
Have it in your power. One more phone call. Call me down, 305-567-0560. Anthony in Long Island. Go ahead.
And love your show as always. You're doing a bang-up job, and I appreciate you taking the call.
Appreciate you.
So at the end of the day, being disgusted, it's beyond that at this point. Once again, not to bore your audience, I'm sorry, 65 years old, 50-year-plus Dolphins fan, abused. So here's a couple of thoughts. First things first, the general manager is obviously incompetent. We all can agree to that.
Right.
Second thing is the coach needs to focus a little bit more on his $10,000 Rolex than maybe a game plan and motivating his players, because obviously, to me, he's lost the team. The third thing I'm going to say is this. The owner's way too passive. The man, I live in New York, obviously, you know that. He's a genius as far as what he's done in business.
Real estate,
the man owns half of Manhattan.
Right.
I know. I've been to a couple of his properties.
He's a good businessman.
Forget it. Oh, he's a great businessman, but he's just way too passive, okay? Tua, selfish, millionaire, doesn't care. Honestly, when I heard last Christmas about, well, I'm going to go home and we're going to celebrate our holiday and this, that, the other. Hey, God bless you. You have the right to celebrate the holiday with your family. And I understand you put the shield up, but you know what? We pay your salary.
Right.
We pay your salary. That's who pays. We do. So you have to act like you care a little bit.
Yeah.
And, of course, going to the defense. What happened to defense? I'm sorry. I'm going in rapid order, and then I'll let you talk after I'm done. I apologize.
Please.
The defense, what happened? Dan, what happened?
Oh.
I can't believe it. Zach Steeler, who I love his attitude.
Yeah, I
the way he
can't
plays.
believe it.
You know what? Without a stud, obviously, it's the chickens have come home to roost. Without a stud, the man is okay. No better than that. Without Christian Wilkins, or I'm sorry, what was his name from last year?
Blaze Campbell.
Blaze Campbell. He's just playing okay. And Jason Phillips, what happened? Where is he? He's a shell of what he was. Maybe that last injury, he's done. And then Bradley Chubb, same thing. I'll let you talk now. When they ran that 30-somewhat yard touchdown, I said, that's it. I shut the TV off. I didn't even know threw 3 interceptions. I'll let you talk.
Oh, they were really bad interceptions, by the way. This is what I think, honestly. I think these guys have been banged up and beat up, and I think Tua has been so banged up and beat up mentally and physically that he might be digressing, like I said, mentally and physically. Tua, okay, no secret. And I'm not letting the cat out the bag, I don't think. Dolphins don't like Tua talking, but they have to let him speak. You notice, he does not speak outside of a podium ever since that he called Brian Flores a terrible person. He called another man a terrible person. Ever since that outside of the building interview, notice, Dolphins said, whoa. No more of that. You can't get an interview with Tua. When he goes to the podium, I know they cringe. Like, Tua lacks what a quarterback needs between the years.
Common sense.
Between the years, Jamarcus Russell, LSU great, not so great in the NFL. One time he walked into a post-game show for LSU with me and he said, I ain't gonna lie, I had it all, but I had the one thing that you need as a quarterback, the one thing I didn't have that you need as a quarterback between the years. And if you don't have that, you can't be a quarterback in the NFL. I said, damn, is that serious? He's like, promise you. Tua goes on and just doesn't have it. I don't know what he thinks. He goes, oh, I'm really good at blocking out the noise. I don't care what fans say. I go home to my kids and I relax. It's like, that's okay to say. But say, I do understand their frustration. I do understand it's hard. I hear them. I feel them. But there's a time I need for myself. That's how you say things, Tua. And I know they coach you up on this stuff. And then last week, you're frustrated. You're upset. Look, I'm the first person that kind of gave Tyreek Hill a pass, saying he was mad at the end of the year at a game that didn't mean anything. At the last quarter, he just got frustrated, like, I'm out. I can't take this. That was a crime of passion. But Tua does it over and over and over again. And I know you're frustrated. But, man, playing junior high basketball in New Orleans, Louisiana, I know you don't take stuff outside the house. You talk to your teammates about these things. You don't throw anybody under the bus. That doesn't motivate people. So you go there and you're not a good leader. You talk too much. You say the wrong thing, and you compound that by playing like absolute garbage. I mean, yeah, if we're 5-1 right now, 6-1 right now, whatever Tua says is fine. It's cool. Got to have some awareness right there. Shows what type of leadership do we really have here. Who is the true leader of this team? Got to think about it. Terrell Dotson? It's not Jalen Waddle. It's not Tua. I'm sorry. I don't care where they have the C on their chest. It's not Tua Tagovailoa. It's not Jalen Waddle, who are supposed to be your best players. Maybe it's Devon Achane. Maybe he's trying to rally. It seems like Jordan Brooks and Terrell Dotson are really the two leaders of this team. Zach Steeler's having an absolute terrible season. I mean,